There it is.
They pop up?
Yes, sir.
All right,
We
just
are
share it to
streaming
your
on
thing.
Facebook.
All right, and I'm going to share it to my page as well. I don't know if that works, but we'll see. All right, there we are. Just one more share and we'll be good to go.
Is there a way that I can do the same thing, or
you should be able to click the share and just share it right on your page. Like there's a share button right underneath the live now, right?
No. So maybe I'll just share it later. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll do it right from your page because maybe since I'm not originating the chat, that's not giving me that option. But
no worries. All right, it says we're live. Are we live? Let me look one more time. It's so funny. I was supposed to have a chat with John Hackelman yesterday, and we had so much trouble getting the thing started. And then, it looks like we're live now. All right, yeah.
Sweet.
So with John Hackelman, you know, the world famous MMA coach who coached Chuck Liddell to his UFC championships. About a month ago, we got together on here and chatted about where we stood on the whole opening and closing of America and what we should be doing. And we were kind of here with our thoughts. Like I was kind of in the middle ground and he was way on the one side. And then, but in the last month, my opinion has absolutely changed a lot. We could talk about that, but let's say hello to everybody. So everybody that's watching, Sensei Rob here from Leading Edge Martial Arts. I want to introduce you to Professor Paul Schroder from El Paso, Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
And so Paul and I have been chatting a lot, really ever since this thing started. And, and we found out we have very similar lineages, well, not lineages, so to speak, but storylines.
Yeah.
We're both about the same age, 47, right?
Yes, 47.
Okay. We both had our schools for 20 years.
20-year anniversary this year.
Yep, our 20th anniversary is June 20th of 2020.
Wow.
So our motto this year is hitting 20 in 2020. So,
yeah, love it.
Yeah, so
feel that.
it's great.
Good.
I just wish we was under different circumstances, you know?
Absolutely, me too.
So,
no doubt.
Paul, let's talk first about, you know, what you teach and what you specialize in, a little bit about your story. So
sure.
I've actually talked about you during my my videos that I shoot for my students, and I've actually mentioned you and the similarities in what you're doing. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you and your school and your history?
Sure. So I started in the martial arts at about age 11 in a Kung Fu style. And very quickly after watching my sister's boyfriend deal with some guy that hit her at a party, you know, which, you know, wasn't the best circumstance, but I watched him deal with it martially in a way that made me attracted to this other style that I really found a home with, which was Kung Fu Sansu. And, you know, so I started that at about age 13. That was my base art for many, many years. Sansu's kind of like a Kung Fu version of Krav Maga. So I call it like a stylized, it's like Krav with a flair of still of that traditional Kung Fu. And then the group that I was involved with Sansu were open to evolution. So when the UFC came out and we watched, you know, the Gracie taking people down and like choking them out, we were like, oh, well, what's that? I want to learn that. And so we also, our particular group tried to keep it with the times without losing the essence of what it was. But it's really a close quarter combat martial art that addresses timing, good punching, good kicking, and also doesn't ignore the grappling range. So with that, I continued my grappling education alongside with the close quarter combat Kung Fu that I do, and have really found that both can blend together quite nicely. And then as of recently, I started doing Kali, and so I do that as well. So my school is three things: it's Kung Fu Sansu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Kali, and we give each equal respect. And we allow our students to just specialize in one. You know, some people are like, I like Sansu, I don't want to go to the ground. And then there's other people that are like, no, jujitsu is the way, we want to do just that. And then there's people that just love the Kali. So we tell people you can do one, you can do the other, or you could do all of them, whatever you want to do. So we try to blend them that way.
It's absolutely awesome. I love it. And as we teach a lot of different things, we also have very similar philosophies behind what we're doing. So my base, I dabbled as a kid, and I really didn't get serious into it until I was 19. And I never studied really a pure system from day one. I mean, I'm training more in a pure system right now that I practice than ever before on the side. But I studied, so I was always in eclectic systems. So I started with a system by Master Mark Glazier, and it was a blend of karate, taekwondo, and aikido, you could say.
Yeah.
And then it very quickly evolved. Like you, 1991, the very first UFC absolutely gave birth to the pure evolution of martial arts. The martial arts changed. You went from being a stylist to a jack of all trades. You had to.
Yeah.
And we incorporated things right away, like judo and jiu-jitsu, so that we could handle taking down and handle going to the ground and grappling. But it was very fundamental stuff. It was very do's and don'ts and not a lot of advanced detail in it. But as the years progressed, we progressed. So what I always talk about this a lot with my students about the multiple evolutions of martial arts. Back when we first started, you had your martial arts schools, and you went to a karate school, a kung fu school. Nobody heard of jiu-jitsu back then.
Right.
And you did this. And then UFC forced the natural evolution into mixed martial arts.
Right.
And then the third evolution I tell my students is now you have mixed martial arts and MMA gyms.
Yes.
So mixed martial arts, we don't say we teach MMA at Leading Edge Martial Arts. We don't teach MMA. We teach what we call non-competition based mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
We're teaching a well-blended hybrid system of martial arts, but for self-defense. So we do stand-up, ground, and everything in between. So it's
really similar. I even think, how long have you been married?
We're married 13 years. 13 years.
Oh, 13 years. So I thought we had a similar, but it is similar because that's an awesomely long marriage. So congratulations on that. But yeah, we've been married a long time. And you have 2 daughters?
2 sons. They don't want to be called sons.
Okay, so bizarro world. I have 2 daughters.
There you go.
What are their ages?
Bailey is 11, just turned 11 during this quarantine, and Lucas is 16.
Woo! I have 13 and 20. Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts, man. It's nuts. So,
yeah, so I'm in the same boat with that. I tell my students, when they come in, there's some that want to fight MMA. They think they want to fight MMA.
Right. So everybody wants to fight until they get punched in the nose.
Till you get punched in the mouth, and then they go, I don't know, they're spitting their blood in their hand. I tell people we are not, if the competition arm of my school is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So if someone really wants to compete, we have a Jiu-Jitsu competition team, and they can go out and they can compete, and that's fine. But that's not the focus of our academy. We are a martial arts school, not a martial sports school. And I think that's an important distinction. And I make no judgments. It's great if that's what some schools want to do. We don't do martial sports. We do martial arts. So we think that there's benefit in the respect, the dedication, the, yes, sir, no, sir, especially for the kids, learning how to tie a belt, learning all of the different protocols in respect of the mat bleeds into the life of the person and allows them to have, a better life. So more than just trying to make them competition fighters, that's not our focus. We're martial arts school. But yeah, I agree. We want to blend these things that work in a way. One of my favorite heroes in martial arts is Dan Inosanto. And I love what Inosanto says about the arts, because he's one of those guys, he's in his 80s and he's doing BJJ like 3 times a week in his 80s because he wants to learn something new.
That's amazing.
And of course we have to modify as we age, as you and I are starting to learn maybe at our age.
I don't know what you're talking about, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. No, not yet. Maybe in 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're good. But Inosanto, you know, he said, I don't train in other martial arts because one is better than the other. And I think that that's what the 80s and the 90s were about. And when MMA started, it was like that for a while, where you had all these guys that were like, everything else but jiu-jitsu is wrong. It's only jiu-jitsu. Now we know that's not the case, because everybody went out and got their blue belt, and now all their skills became relevant again.
Exactly.
Right? So about a blue belt level, you're okay, I'm not going to fall for that stuff, and now my style becomes more relevant again. And so, you know, you watch the evolution of martial arts, and Inosanto says, I don't train in the other arts because one is better than the other. I train in the other arts because of the attributes they give me. So whether it's karate, whether it's, you know, kung fu, or whether it's, each one has an essence. And I think if a student approaches that art, it's important that they gain the essence more than just, you know, tricks. Like, this is a trick, that's a trick. They start to sense that essence of the art and go, okay, this art has given me this attribute, because the ultimate martial art is you, you know?
Absolutely.
You're the one writing your story. And so each style that you get in a good academy is going to just give you those attributes as a practitioner. So
I love it, dude. We're
not wrong over the other.
Yeah.
I mean, the person may, criticize a style and say, well, you know, karate doesn't work. Well, a karate guy will kick you in the head and it'll work.
Right. Exactly.
Or a kung fu guy will, you know, whatever. So that's my approach too, is that each art offers an attribute and we should know what that is. Blend it.
And I tell my students, I believe very firmly in being a jack of all trades. If you're a master of one, I mean, I love the popularity of jiu-jitsu is amazing, but every 18 to 28-year-old guy, that's all he wants to know. He doesn't want to know how to stand up, punch, and kick. He just wants to choke you out. Problem is, I say to everybody, well, you know what, guys, we're in the street and we go to the ground and you're locking out a guy's arm. Well, you better A, be prepared to break the arm to end the fight.
Yeah.
Right? B, choke him unconscious. And C, I don't know how you're going to defend against his buddy who's standing over the top of you, kicking you in the head while you're choking his friend. And let's not forget, I haven't met many sidewalks as cushy as my tatami mats. So, so I don't want to roll around if I don't. But when we do go to the ground, we got to know what to do. So it's amazing how similar our philosophies and our path have been. So I guess what we should really talk about though now is how COVID-19 has thrown a wrench into our well-oiled machines that we have in our schools. I mean, we were forced to shut down by our governor on March 17th, St. Patty's Day. It was the worst St. Patty's Day of my life. Now, fortunately, we started thinking about what's next pretty quickly, so we didn't miss a single day of online teaching. But tell us your story first, and then we'll kind of see what we're doing. And then I know that El Paso, Texas is in a different boat with reopening than we are. So I want to talk about that too. But go ahead and tell us about what happened.
So I did a video on Monday, I believe it was Monday the 16th, which was one day before the forced shutdown. And so, I mean, what we did was we immediately made a Facebook group that was for our members only, that we invited you to, because you and I started talking around the same time.
Yeah, right away.
I made a private group, and then I did a video for my community, and just basically said, you know, because of COVID-19, we're going to shut down. We're going to get through this, but we're moving all of our students to our online portal. And so that's what we did. We initially just did classes on Facebook Live in the evening for kids, for adults, for Kali, adult Kung Fu. And we pushed to get all of our clients onto that site, and we made it open only to our members. That way our members didn't think, well, what the heck, he's just giving this for free, you know, what's the value? So we put everybody on that site that were our members, and then we just tried to make it as high tech as possible, put up content, and then that site allows us to organize. So you can go to the top of the site on Facebook, click on Kali and get all the Kali videos, click on Jiu-Jitsu and get all the Jiu-Jitsu videos from kids kung fu, adult jujitsu, kids jujitsu, and then we even did meditation. So,
and that's all on your Facebook group, right?
So, pardon?
That's all on your Facebook group, or you have a
all on the Facebook group?
Okay,
all on the Facebook group. So you go on there, and if whatever you're interested in, and it was cool because we were able to do a lot of these little side missions that we weren't able really to offer as easily, as accessibly in person. So that kind of helped us to see it through, and we were in contact with each other, talking with each other. And so that's kind of what we did once we closed down. And then, of course, Zoom came along. And so now with Zoom, we're able to do one-on-ones with students. And some of our classes we were doing Facebook Live, we do a Zoom class for them, which is cool because we get to see them and I get to say, no, left foot forward. John, left hand up. Come on, John, put that left hand up, elbow in.
Right.
You pivot on that cross, dip, come up, we're able to really watch them, which is kind of cool. So that's what we've done. We've just tried to kind of flow with the punches a little bit.
Yeah. Similar way, March 16th, we really started to prepare that Monday for what was going to happen as everything started to kind of come to light the week before. We started telling parents, we didn't realize the state would actually shut us down. We thought we would just have students afraid to come. So we immediately started letting everybody know, even the week prior, don't worry if you're afraid, we're going to live stream our classes. So you guys can train at home and you don't have to miss a thing. That quickly changed. So our classes on Monday, we just streamed them live. That Monday, March 16th, we streamed them live. And then we saved them to our YouTube channel so that students could refer back to them. We then, starting the very next day when we were closed, me and a couple team members went in and started shooting pre-recorded classes. Originally, my idea, I did a lot of research on what was the best way to get everything live to everybody. And I like you, didn't know about Zoom at the time.
Yeah.
So we were trying to set up Vimeo groups. We were trying to do locked YouTube groups. We were trying to get YouTube to stream live. You had so many hoops that you had to jump through to get all these platforms to do live stuff. Like YouTube, you had to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to get them to go mobile on a mobile device live, even though you can YouTube live from a PC. We didn't have a PC on our mat, so we wanted to go from a device. We couldn't do that initially. Facebook, we could go live, but a lot of our students and even a lot of parents are resistant of being Facebook members. So we steered clear of just Facebook Live. So we ended up settling with pre-recorded class videos on YouTube. The caveat is our page isn't locked. So like you said, that content's out there right now. Paul, if we're done here and you like what I said, you could start training leading edge martial arts tonight.
Yeah.
It's out there. So we really, do I think there are people out there that are taking my classes probably for free? Yeah, I do. Am I overly concerned?
No.
Not really. You know what? If it's
so.
helping somebody get through this quarantine, relieve some stress, learn something new, and help them feel better right now as we all are bottling up these feelings, go for it. But I would say the majority of my students, up to 80%, have been honorable in their training and they're paying to help keep leading edge alive. Right. Then as time progressed, Zoom came along and we added to what we were doing. Probably about 2 to 3 weeks in, we started adding in live Zoom private lessons. So like we have our classroom, our pre-recorded 6 classes that we do every day, where I drag my 2 boys, my slave labor, into the school. Yeah. And we shoot our classes. We post them. When I get home, it's live private lessons, live private testing. We use a acuity scheduler, and the students can actually sign up for their private lessons, sign up for their testing right through our app. It's pretty cool. They don't have to email and request it. And we're giving it to them for free on top of what we're doing. We do our daily live chats. One of the things that the students, especially kids, have really come to love is we do a live Zoom for all the students every other day, and we give away prizes. Cool. We do trivia, and we just kind of, it's FaceTime with Sensei, and we do trivia. Hey, what was Bruce Lee's son's name? And and what year, blah, blah, blah. And my sister-in-law owns the best homemade ice cream shop anywhere around here. Sweet. I'm going to plug it right now. The Inside Scoop, go get your ice cream. You got to go get it. Support small business. And awesome. We give away gift cards to all the trivia winners. Now, at first, I thought it was going to be 2 weeks. So I was giving 10 away a day. Now that we're in week 10, I'm like, oh, man, I can't afford to be giving 10 ice creams a day.
Yeah, right,
so
right.
Now it's 1 or 2 a day.
Right,
but
that's pretty cool.
It's been fun, and we've evolved, and we've been blessed. Our motto at Leading Edge has been Lima Strong. Lima is Leading Edge Martial Arts, Lima Strong. Our students have really supported us for the most part. The students that have left, the majority of them are students that their families lost their jobs. And then we tell them, listen, we understand, and, let us know what we can do to help. We've had very few people say, we just don't see value in online training. So we'll see when we're open again. And for those people, I have a pretty simple answer. If you don't help us now, I can't guarantee we're going to be here in the end. And that's,
and that's, I mean, and that's something that we said too, is, if you want a place to train when this is over, consider supporting us as we move forward. We're not going to Hawaii on that. We're putting everything away, paying our bills.
Exactly.
I'm in a situation where I have to pay my rent. I rent a lot of martial arts instructors got some assistance with their rent, but we're leasing from a very large corporation that just kind of grinds their leasing laws and just says, look, get out, we'll get somebody else in there that'll pay it, because it's warehouse, and warehouse space goes quickly. So I've had to really negotiate with them. I'm not getting a break from my rent or from all of these things. So, however, like you said, I mean, we put it out there for our population and said, look, if you guys want to freeze, if you need to cancel, if you need to, just reach out to us and we'll do that. And we totally understand.
Right.
And for the most part, a lot of our clients have not done that. But the ones that have, we give them a golden bridge of retreat and a golden bridge of return. We say, hey guys, we understand. We love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us for the time that you have. And when we get back, we'll reach out to you if you want to come back. And if not, and most of them say, we're coming back, when my situation changes, we're coming back. Very, very few, if any, have called and said, actually, I haven't had someone say, well, we don't like this. This is terrible. And, most people are just, it's a job situation or a finance situation. And we of course we understand, so, and we let those people stay on the online. Just stay on the online,
Right.
We're not going to kick you out. We want you to stay there. You're always a family member, and when things turn around, come on back. And so I really do think it's shifted martial arts. And I also think it's allowed us to see what it is that we have outside of just the ability to go in a building and do our thing. We have a community of people that have now had this opportunity to show us how grateful they are to us for what we do, which makes us feel humbled and grateful by saying, look, we're going to stick with you guys because we know that when this is over, we're going to get back to it. But it's amazing. I didn't expect it. I really didn't. To be honest, after the first 2 weeks, I thought, well, we're done. I guess I'm going to be, selling cars or something. Or I was thinking, you have your moments, where I'll put my mats in storage and come back next year. But nope, that's not what's happening. People want the online training. They want to feel connected. Our business is these people. That's right. It's these people, regardless of what setting we're in, we're going to deliver, our motto is El Paso Sansu, empowering lives. So we're going to empower their lives in whatever way that we can. And right now, online is the way. And it's interesting, the one-on-one Zooms have been really cool because I'm getting to go into the home for 20, 30 minutes. And, at first I'm like, oh, well, this isn't quite the same. And it's different. But I'm sure you're experiencing the same thing where you're going, put your left foot
next to the coffee table.
Yeah. You're like, drinking your coffee. You're like, left foot, John, left foot like that.
The other left foot, John. The other
yeah. And he's going, and he's getting it like almost more than when we're in the school setting, because a lot of time in the school setting, you're like John left foot forward, and then you're running over here to Billy and then Marcia, and then, yeah, pretty good. But you're not really giving that one-on-one, just laser-like attention to that student. And that has made my students better. Like I'm seeing
awesome.
in the last, especially the white belt students. I have one student had signed up, took 2 classes, and then the pandemic hit.
Oh man.
But she stayed with us, and we're doing these Zooms, and I'm like, I'm getting her close to yellow belt, like legitimately.
That's awesome.
Legitimately learning. Her name is Fabiola. If you watch this, Fabiola, you're awesome. But she's legitimately getting it correct. So I didn't expect that. You know, I expected it to be a little bit second tier, but it's not. It's not. Of course, we're missing the one-on-one connection. But as far as the instruction goes, like we're opening on the 1st. So I know. We're excited and nervous, but we are excited mostly. I invested in some bags. We're gonna set up an area for each student to come in. We're gonna check temperatures. We're gonna wear face masks. We're gonna do it all because the fire department is gonna be traveling around and they're gonna be checking. You know, so when they walk into my school, I'm gonna say, "Welcome. We're doing everything that we've been asked to do. And by the way, will you please sign this incident report that you were here?"
Right.
And them sign an incident report as well.
That's a great idea.
Stating what they found. So that we can be above reproach and not, you know, not.
So we're in a little bit different boat here. The great state of Pennsylvania, without getting political, is under.
It's hard not to these days, man.
It really is, because you're either, I mean, it's pretty apparent if you're a business owner, especially a small business owner, you're sitting on one side of the aisle on this. And it, you know, for us, we were, let me back up. Back to the virtual world for a second before I get off on that tangent.
All right.
I think the virtual world is here to stay. I don't think this is ever going away for us. I believe now we've played with the idea of just Zooming all our classes. We've had parents tell us flat out they love the flexibility of the pre-recorded classes and then using Zooms and stuff like that for extra help. It is neat, like you said, having that, you feel like you've been accepted and stepped into people's homes that you've never actually known. So it's really cool that way. Where we sit with this, we were supposed to open up the state of Pennsylvania May 25th. To phase 1. Our governor's laid out 3 phases of opening. Phase 1 was supposed to be May 25th. It recently got pushed back to June 4th for phase 1. Phase 2 is 3 to 5 weeks later if no setbacks or no changes. Phase 3 is 3 to 5 weeks after that if no setbacks or changes. Martial arts schools and gyms are phase 3. Right now, we potentially are not looking at opening our doors until August. 5 months of this online world without seeing my students in person. It's heartbreaking. As you can imagine, the state of Pennsylvania is in uproar right now. The inconsistency and what he has deemed life essential businesses versus not, like for example, Walmart with thousands and thousands of people can be open, but a real estate agent showing one house to one person cannot. In the construction world, like you could build, a construction worker could build a pool, but a pool worker couldn't build a pool. A landscaper could put up a fence, but a fence company couldn't put up a fence. And the beer distributors,
it's criminal.
Yeah, the beer distributors are wide open. With hundreds of people lined up, and then you have gyms and things that are good for people's life, martial arts schools that enhance them, make them feel healthy, give them a positive outlet for the stresses they're feeling, are closed. And yet our great governor gave a secret waiver to his family's furniture business that they could be open. So the state of Pennsylvania is about to implode.
Yeah.
And he's not budging, so much so that President Trump flew into Allentown, the town we're in, and spoke at a local factory less than a half mile from here just last week to say thank you for them for what they're doing with PPEs. But he also said, Pennsylvania, I haven't forgotten about you. But he's not trying to step on the local government's ability to set their precedents. So without getting any more political than that, I'm super excited for you, brother. I am so excited for you to open up and to see how you do everything. For us, we're sitting on pins and needles, wondering if there's even going to be public school in the fall. We don't know if there's going to be anything in the state of Pennsylvania. And we don't know what it's going to look like. I know that they did tell us when we are allowed to open, we're going to be only allowed to allow 10 people in our school at a time.
Yeah.
That includes instructors. Now, my facility is 7,000 square feet, and we have 100 people in there at any given time. Yeah. So I get 10 people. We're like, okay, I guess we're going to go in, pre-record our classes, and then modify a class schedule with half-hour classes with 10 people and get you out with a 15-minute gap and get 10 more in. And, you know, I've been reading a lot about the fears of wearing a mask during working out. I'm asthmatic. That's an issue. What are the right things to do? So we're continuing down this path of uncharted waters. And I'm going to be watching close what you guys do. Mm-hmm. I'm watching my friend Seth Petrozelli, who just opened up his Jungle MMA gym this week and had his first classes yesterday. I'm excited for him. But what's this new world going to look like? And finally, how long can we go on like this? Because the cure can't be worse than this disease.
I agree. I mean, not only do I hear what you're saying, but I hear what you're not saying. And you and I are in agreement on this. You know, I mean, it's hard because there's so much political polarization about what we should or shouldn't do. But a lot of it is happening in the minds of people that have secure 9-to-5 jobs.
Yep.
Go in and push a pencil and they can say, stay home, stay safe, and show a picture of their nice, you know, beautiful steak dinner. Stay home, stay safe, but they've got a job.
Right.
And you know, for us, the first to be affected and will be the last to come back online fully. And that's just a fact. Now, it is what it is. I do believe we need to be careful, and we didn't know what this virus was going to do. So I'm not discounting the public health aspect of this or pretending it's nothing. But I do think that part of public health is the ability to create an income for your family, not lose your career. There's probably people drinking themselves to oblivion every night right now at home. Nobody knows about that. They say suicide is hugely on the rise. Yep. All of these things need to be considered. And to be honest, I mean, I'm really humbled and grateful to be in the great state of Texas, where our governor is kind of saying, hey guys, you know, we need to get people back to work, you know, the best that we can and as safely as we can. So, and I'm glad to be the test pilot for that. I'll gladly do that. We're going to video everything. So we're going to video the process of a student coming in, what that's going to look like. And I'm going to be very public about it for the other schools that can't yet open and say, hey guys, here's what we found. And also pitfalls, you know, what are some of the pitfalls that you guys find? I'm sure that one of the challenges is going to be, you know, the little kids are going to want in and come in and just kind of grab us and hug us. And that's because they love us. And we always hug the little guys and, you know, give them a little rub his head.
Yep.
That's going to be hard not to do. Of course, the jujitsu is like near impossible to do. What are we going to do? You know, that. So I also think, you know, my wife found this article online about pandemics and how they end. And one of the things that this article brought out was that sometimes the way these things end is when the public just decides it's over. You know,
right.
There's not going to be deaths that are terrible. We don't want anybody to die of COVID. We don't, you know, want anybody to get sick with COVID. We need to consider that. But
I'd love to see that article. Send that to me, please.
Okay, I'm going to find it and I'll post it. It's really good. He says at a certain point, it's not that people just kind of decide, well, it's time to get on with it. You know, it's safely possible. sit in our houses for 2 years, especially you and I. This is our career. I can't go get a job at McDonald's to replace my career income, to support my family.
I said I've been having a lot of debates, and my wife actually gets very angry at me because she has given me the law of no political posting and no bantering about that stuff.
Right now. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and she's every once in a while you'll probably see a post pop up. I'm like, well, it's not really political. She's like, it's political, and then it's down.
I do the same thing. Yeah.
So, but I've said in many of my arguments when I have good friends that are on the other side of the fence and whatever. Listen, they like you said, they have job security. They're not going anywhere. They're either they're government employed, teachers, whatever they are. They're comfortable that their job's not disappearing anytime soon. And I've been on record saying, I believe when this is all done and you calculate over the ramifications over the next 3 to 5 years, if you include all that, you're going to see more deaths via suicide, more people suffering from substance abuse problems, more people that are marriages that have fallen and families that have fallen apart because people have lost their jobs, their careers, their family homes, their life savings, their college funds. The ramifications of this may be less direct COVID-19 deaths, which again, I don't discount any death.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm technically high risk. I have severe asthma.
I am too.
But I'm willing at this point, and I'm going to get an antibody test because I'm convinced I had this December through February. I was sick as a dog for 8 weeks. Couldn't breathe at all. 2 rounds of antibiotics, 2 rounds of steroids, cough that wouldn't go away. Couldn't get it out of my system. I'm convinced I had it. But that being said, what's that?
I hope you did.
Yeah, I hope I did too. That's kind of weird to say, but yeah, I do.
Yeah, because that means science is that you might be immune to it for a couple years.
I know my dad can't get it. I know my in-laws can't get it. If they get it, it's the end. But at the same time, man, the world survived the Black Plague. The world survived the swine flu. It survived the Spanish flu. It will survive. And we need a herd immunity. We need to be around each other. We need to. And I actually worry about kids and mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health in our children, the kids that you can say, go play in the backyard and get off your phones. But even their physical activity is on a device these days. I mean, so what are you doing? Like, it's tough. Now, I know you have a class coming up pretty soon. I don't want you to be late for that, right?
No, that's okay. I'll let you know. I got a couple minutes before my Zoom, but I agree with you. And I think that kids need to get out, and even if they're at home, if you're listening to this, parents, get your kids, if you're not letting them outside, have them go outside and play in the dirt. Have them pet the dog and let the dog lick their face a little bit. Our immune system survives by being exposed, and, not to be overly simplistic about it either, but we need to be outside. We need sunlight. I had a student that was one of my black belt students who's an anesthesiologist and a physician. And because of all of the hospital closures, he went right to the epicenter of New York when they were at the peak and worked in one of the larger hospitals, putting ventilators in people, because he's an anesthesiologist, he's putting the ventilators in people that are dying. So he was at ground zero at the worst of the worst. And his opinion on what we should be doing about this as a physician, as an anesthesiologist, is exactly what we're saying. He said, it's to be taken, we need to not take it lightly, but American people, their health and their longevity and their ability to have, mental clarity and feel connected has largely to do about them getting back to working into society safely. He's like, let's not overdo this and kill many more Americans because we're scared of this. There needs to be a balance here. And as martial artists, at a certain point, I tell my students, martial arts survives underground. It thrives underground, and so if you're a martial artist, listen to this. Remember, this is where we thrive because we're underground right now. We're like in our bedrooms trying not to chop the lamp over and side kicks. It's almost like when a society had a government that said you can't practice your martial arts. So Brazil invents capoeira. Oh, we're dancing, right? we're just dancing. Yeah, but I'll kick you in the head too if you my stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Martial arts spirit, where we were able to go underground and thrive so that we keep it alive, you know, so that when it's time to open back up, who kept it alive? We kept it alive. We didn't get it, because this knowledge needs to pass on. We're stepping into a tradition of knowledge, thousands of years old, and it'll be thousands of years past this. However it evolves is irrelevant, but we need to remember that. We also need to remember when it's time to step out and go back to the school. We need to be careful. We need to be safe, but we need to be warriors, man. You know, let's go. Let's go. All right, whatever happens, you know.
And on that note, you know, Paul, like I'm sure you've seen it too, the pictures of gyms closing and martial arts schools closing and people's lifetime dreams closing. And I keep telling my students, from a student perspective, listen, at Leading Edge, we teach the non-quitting spirit. We teach to overcome obstacles. This is just another obstacle in your path.
Right.
It's another obstacle that you have to overcome and become even stronger. Don't allow this to be what makes you a statistic. You know, the 80% of students that stop within a year. Don't let this be that statistic or that thing that derails you from your journey. But then I want to talk to the other instructors out there, the school owners. Guys, you got into martial arts teaching because of what martial arts did for you when you wanted to give back. And you were able to give to others because you're a fighter. And like you said, we have to fight right now.
That's right.
We can't curl up in a ball in the fetal position and lose this fight. You've got to go down swinging. Don't close your school doors. Keep your door open. Don't let your landlord evict you. Don't let anybody throw you out. And don't be too proud to humble yourself and ask your students for help. Ask your students. I pride myself on, we always give to the community. We are community driven. Right after I leave here and go to the school, we're doing an anti-bullying Zoom class for a couple hundred students at an inner city school.
Sweet.
Just because we love to do for the community, and we don't charge for those things. We constantly do for the community. Now we're asking our community to help us. Help us. Help ensure we're here later. And not just us. We're martial artists, we're school owners, but we're entrepreneurs. And that's a special spirit that people have. And we have to support all our local small businesses that are hurting right now. If it's instead of buying frozen pizza, frozen Elios at your grocery store, buy a pizza from the local pizza shop.
Yeah.
You know, instead of going to these big chains, pick up a dinner at the local sandwich shop. Like, support local right now. Do takeout, support local. Hey man, I really appreciate this. This is good.
Yeah, I do too. You know, and I'm telling you, and just as a message out to all the entrepreneurs and the martial artists out there, and to the other school owners who might watch this, this is awesome what you're doing, Rob. This is a visionary thing that you're doing, and I'm real proud of you doing this, because this needs to happen. Because I think a lot of us feel isolated, you know, because we did it on our own. You know, we went, put up a stake in the ground and said, you know, this is my martial arts school. This is my offering. This is my art. You know, it's like an artist showing his art. It's the same. You come in and you go, I don't like the art, or I like the art. You put yourself out there, and that's how we've made it in this industry.
Absolutely.
And all of you martial artists, same thing. And what we transmit to our students is that indomitable spirit. You know, it's like, if someone tries to take my car, you ain't taking my car, unless I have to give it to you, but you're definitely not taking my life, you know?
Right.
You can take my life, but not my confidence. And so that spirit, now we need that as martial arts instructors to lead our schools forward. And we need to have a positive mindset. You know, we need to have a positive mindset, to not allow yourself to just talk negatively to your students, talk negatively, and lead it down this path of no return. The guys that seem to make it are like, they're not denying this is terrible. It is. But they're framing it in a positive light. We can do this, guys. We're in this together. Let's fight, you know, and come out stronger. And that's what our people want from us.
Absolutely.
That leadership. You know, they want to see us smiling when we turn the camera on, when we don't know how we're going to pay our rent.
Exactly.
It's about, bring it. I'll figure it out. You know, I mean, right now I started, one of my students does this janitorial company, and I'm helping him just in case. And so people go, oh, are you quitting the school? No, I'm not quitting the school. Are you kidding? I'm preparing in case I need to be less of a burden on the school, because the school's not going anywhere. The school will survive. So got to be the mindset we have, that no matter what. I mean, as it was, we all started our school and we're curious that first month if we were going to have enough to pay the rent, you know?
Oh, yeah.
First rent was $1,200, my first rent in my school. And the month before, I brought in $700, and I'm like, can I increase to $1,200? Because I don't have an extra $500-600 to pay the rent. And sure enough, that month, man, I went out, I handed out cards, I gave free lessons, and we made that first rent payment, man. We punched that rent right in the face. And this is what I think we need going forward as instructors, man. We need to talk, we need to be positive for our people, and realize that our business is our people, you know, and our community, not the building, it's our community. And you know, to our members, we love you guys. I mean, thank you guys for staying with us. This thing has made us all tighter, you know, more connected. We're gonna make it.
You hit it on the head, Paul. I mean, we're fighters. We're not going to stop. We're not going to grind down. You know, Rocky said it best. It's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, guys. We took one right on the chin with COVID-19. Yeah. We certainly did.
It was a sucker punch.
It sure was, man.
This.
Yep. I was sitting there minding my own business. Yep. But we're going to keep fighting, man. And let me tell you, at Leading Edge, we're going to be watching you close, Paul. We want to see how you do it. We want to see what works, and we're actually going to cheat, and we're going to find out what doesn't work before we have to do it.
I'm glad to be that guy, Rob. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say it all. I'm going to say, you know, we can do another one of these after I open, and I can say, hey, watch for this, watch for that. Absolutely.
Love it. Love it. Hey,
Bob directs a moving ship, my man.
I want to get your address, Paul, because I'm going to send you a Leading Edge shirt. I want one of your shirts. We're going to wrap each other on one of these live chats.
This is our El Paso Strong shirt.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Yeah. We'll get you some swag.
All right, my friend. Let's do this again. This was awesome.
I love it, dude. God bless you. Yeah. Good luck next week, and keep fighting.
Amen. You too.
Be safe. Have a good day.
You too.